And now it's full screen. Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, thank you, Per-Ole. It's nice to be attending Symetri's big Nordic BIM event again. Even if it's digital, it's have been a couple of years now. I've been attending this, so it's really nice. I want to introduce you today our Tribia solutions, and in the, as mentioned, agenda, I will try to put it in a perspective of both how we work in today, but also what we see happening in this post-pandemic digital world we are entering now, because we can see that this year that has been working on from home has actually affected quite much the usage of our products. It has been a quite dramatic increase of usage, so that's in a way positive, I think. First of all, Tribia, for you, those of you who doesn't know what Tribia are, we are a sister company to Symetri, placed in the same division as Symetri, the design management division, where we situate together with also Services Global. And of course, our companies, as we are in the design management division, has common customers, and as Services Global, who works with facility management solutions, actually is our partner selling our solutions in some way what to the building owner customers. I won't stay at this picture anymore, but I will talk a little bit more about Tribia. We are a software, a cloud service company. We deliver cloud services and has been doing that since 2001. Today we have about 100,000 plus 100,000 users of our cloud services, mainly in Norway and Sweden, and we have offices in Oslo and Stockholm. Today about 80 employees, and yeah, have a quite good footprint in construction project delivering these cloud services. Many happy customers that uses our solutions project after project. So that I think it's a sign that we do something right and delivers on what the customer's expectations are. The solutions we have is 3 solutions. It's Interaxo. I think that people from Norway maybe are quite familiar with. It's quite heavily used there. It's BMI that I think maybe some of you have been heard before. It has been a product that we originally had inside Symetri, but for a couple of years ago we took that over to Tribia. We placed our own developed solutions in terms of cloud solutions in one company, and concentrated the development and different parts of it so that we could do development in a more efficient way. And the third product solution we have is Unisite, that actually is aimed at consuming the information from Interaxo and BMI, for example, in the field, but also used as a single solution in terms of different kinds of work that construction companies or subcontractors and other people do in the field in terms of checklists and HMS work and so forth. So, as been talked about before in this session, in this event, it's a lot of things happening, and I think that, as I mentioned in the beginning, our experience from this year has been that we have been pushed into quite new, interesting challenges, which I don't think have happened if the digitalization hasn't been fueled by the pandemic. So in that way, for us, it has been quite interesting year, both the working from home, but also supporting the customer and their ambitions in going forward. On the screen now we can see 2 different projects that we are involved in. The left one is actually a I think it's Nordic's largest treehouse project. I know that we have been quite big ones in Norway before. I think this is the biggest one. Anyway, in Nordics, I'm not quite sure, but anyway, it's a where is aimed at sustainability, and Veideco has been the contractor here together with Folkham, who has been the building owner, has focused quite much on the sustainability part in this project. And now it's going in new phases and will go even further on using BIM and data in order to be able to pursue this ambition of high level sustainability. And the reference on the right side is actually a quite new company in facility management who delivers services on the facility management side, who has gone in the business and been aiming at to actually drive the building owners' demands in terms of requirements and BIM manuals in terms of taking delivery demands in terms of data into the facility management process. And this has it's the first time I think that we can see that the companies actually focusing very quite much on trying to just be on that side, helping the customers to get in a higher level. What we also can see is that we are going into what's called digital twin in a much higher level. We have we'll come back to that with a couple of products that we are working with, but we can see that in a reachable future we will need to support the work with sustainability and smart buildings with digital twin support, and this has to be driven by clearly required information deliveries and also data-driven transfers in an automated way. Because if that's not defined in the beginning of the product, it creates a lot of problems when we come to the end of the product where we would like to establish the digital twin. So we can see quite a lot of things happening on that side also. The challenges we can see today is that it's collaboration. Today, there's a lot of talk about collaboration and the challenges there. And what we can see is that the collaboration situation on the construction side is quite different from other business areas, which means also that it's not that easy to go and look over to another industry and try to copy the way they're working. It has been a lot of tryouts in terms of using PLM systems in the from the manufacturing side in construction, who hasn't really succeeded. And if you look at this picture, you can see that it's quite a difference how collaboration in these different industries look like. And if you look at a little deeper on the construction side of this, you can see that it has quite a unique collaboration profile, and it means that employees in the organizations are less connected because they are connected to the project, not necessarily to the company in that high level. And these projects have quite a few general central nodes, which means that each product can actually, or are today, actually implementing different kinds of sets of technologies. Example is when they using different kinds of collaboration portals, cloud-based, which makes it quite difficult to create best practices between projects. And a large portion of the external parties outside the organization at the construction. So it's a lot of people and companies hired in to do subcontractor work in these constructions, which means that they come along with their own tools and methods and stuff like that. So that makes it even more painful to try to get hold of the the centralized data work. There are quite a challenge to get people working in a common data environment. What's happening when in this situation is that you get a lot of fragmented product information. A lot of communication is through email still, and everything that follows is that there creates a lot of waste, as Alison talked about in her main stage presentation, and also budgets and stuff that is, yeah, not met, time plans not met. And one of the big things that we think we are trying to aim at when we're talking to our customers on the construction and the building owner side, it's that they have to have focus not just on file sharing, because it's inefficient. It's actually more and more about data. So if you have a good way to handle your 3D models and your documents, it's not efficient enough. You need to have a strategy to handle the data, all the data that's not created in the design tools, or maybe not even created in the documents in Word, Excel, and so forth. It might be created in specialized tools aside, or maybe in other ways. And you need to have some idea how to capture those also if you want to have a complete BIM data delivery in the end. So here is one of the projects where we actually are involved, as I mentioned in the beginning, where this has been quite obvious. This is the treehouse that I talked about before, where the requirements has been to get it climate secured. They have done quite a lot of projects here where they have mapped different processes in terms of both the design process, which is the green line up in the right-hand picture, and also the production, where the material and distribution of everything goes to the building site. And they can see how the decisions and transparency between these two is really, really lacking. And a lot of the data is actually hard to find from the different sides. So this is a work now that has been started in phase 2, where you can see the goals and requirements in the middle section there, what they're going to do, what they're aiming at in the next stage, which will start, I think, here in May, June, I think. And in the end of this picture, you can see also that one of the things is that Folkham was the building owner here, who's owned by Norder and I think another actor. They are foreseeing quite a lot of things will happen for them in terms of demands now when the Swedish National Board of Housing, Building and Planning comes out with the requirements for climate declaration, which has been starting now. So they need to actually be able to produce these climate declarations, and the demands around that will be quite heavily in terms of going forward. So there are some risks connected to this, but it's also new business opportunities. So I totally agree with Alison on Autodesk that okay, you can see this as a threat, but you can also see this as a possibility, a business opportunity. One of the trends that we can see that there are possibilities is as I mentioned before, this clearly required information delivery demands that's coming up now. In Norway, we've been involved in a project which this the demands regarding what kind of documentation needs to be delivered, and also how the BIM project should be classified in order to be able to take this further on into the operation maintenance process. So this is an example where we are implementing these standards and processes to handle this. The case that we're working with is actually a Norwegian project where it's called Portal, and our customers here is actually Tyrens, and I know that they have their own presentation regarding this project. What we are delivering is actually together with Symetri. Symetri delivers the BIM 360 platform to support the connection to the Revit design tools and all the BIM models that are created here, where we are delivering the platform for the operation maintenance, collection of operation maintenance, asset data, and documentation. So this project has an ambition to use the digital twin to perform operation excellence. One of the ones who is going to be in this building is Telia Norway, and Telia has set their mind to that they would like to. They will set up some sensor solutions in the building and connect that with the 5G system, which will be able to collect data. And this data, they want to map that together with the data that's harvested now in the BIM project. So it can be some sort of platform that together can service this building. Our role, as I mentioned now, is actually to collect the collection of this information from the different tools and solutions that are creating the information and the documentation. And the way we're working now is that we're providing the support for to deliver the operation and maintenance documentation in Interaxo. And then we create hyperlinks who will link into we will link the documentation into the BIM model with support of BIM-I. So you can see in the picture here where we have BIM-I and the FTV documentation. It's the hyperlinks where you, when this is collected and put together, you can click on the linkage and you will end up from the object that you have chosen into what documentation is actually connected to this. So an example here where you click on a window and you end up in Interaxo on that window type and can see all the documentation that's connected to it. So this is actually what we put together, and now the Tyrens is looking at how should this be maintained during the lifetime of this building. But as I mentioned, that Tyrens is our customers. We don't work directly to the end customers, which is Oslo Pensionsselskap and Jusek, I think, but that's the Tyrens. So they have created their own business opportunity in packaging our solutions and their skills. This kind of ambitions is also appearing in infrastructure project. This is a project that was involved in also in Norway. For Nye Veier was the building developer that demanded the digital twin approach, and we helped Veidekke to do something similar on what we helped been supporting Tyrens with in Portal project. It's a little bit the same thing but this is an infrastructure project instead. So the model here is an IFC model that we have been using to import into BIM-I. In terms of business opportunities, then, we are approached by different kinds of industrial knowledge now, which I think it's one of the signs that things is starting to happening in terms of more and more would like to be able to connect to the BIM processes and the platforms that we are supporting in the projects. And Briab, who also works together with Symetri, delivering add into the Revit design tool, the Navigate package Also had another solution that called Beamfire Share that they will launch, I think, after end of this year, maybe in the autumn. And this is a cloud solution where there will be connection to BMI, which means that they can collect data out of BMI. We collect data from the project and give it over to Beamfire Share, and they can make some work on the data in BMI, and then drag it over to Beamfire Share where they have the rule books, so they can do automatic rule checks and different kinds of stuff in their share platform, and then send the result back into BMI with updated properties on the objects. So this is a solution that we will, I think we will have a beta platform ready here before the summer and have some customers trying it out. But this is one of the examples of business, new business partnerships that happens. It's a huge potential around enabling fire protection in BIM processes. And one of the customers actually talking to now is Clearing Housing in London. I think Clearing Housing is one of the biggest housing groups in UK, who are looking at a way to have an efficient fire protection work process around their buildings. Yeah, and obviously we try to have an open approach to everything that's happening, and one of the trends we can see now is that, as I mentioned, there are more other companies than Tribia that we are talking to just now. I can't mention any one of them because we have NDA signed, but there are some discussions regarding how to be able to use data from our solutions in different kinds of sustainability processes. It is life LCC analysis, and also in being able to code the objects in BMI with certain codes that are with the sustainability who can be used in sustainability work. There are also other solutions where we're talking about using the viewer functionality that we have in our solutions in connected to GIS systems and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that we're looking at. We will see what will happen, but we have a public API in the solutions. So companies that are interested in getting data out of our solutions and maybe do things with them and send it back to us so we can transport it further on in the process. We are really interesting to talk with and see what is possible to do. So maybe you have something that you're thinking about that we could talk about. That's all from me, I think. If there are any more questions or things after this session, you're welcome to join us in our expo booth, where we can talk more of the things that we have presented here, and maybe also demonstrate some of our solutions in some aspects that you're thinking about. So, are there any questions, Per-Ole, or how's this?
No, I have no questions here.
Mm.
And your timing is perfect because it's only 4 minutes to the next keynote.
Okay. So if there aren't any questions to me or so, then I think we stop there, and then you have 3-4 minutes to go and grab a cup of coffee before next session starts. And thank you very much for listening to me, and very much welcome to our expo booth for further discussions.
Thank you, Mats. Everyone, if you have any questions, you'll find Mats at the expo booth. You will find him in the attendee list, and you can ask him for a private session or a private meeting. and grab a cup of coffee, and we will see you on main stage in 3 minutes. Thank you all.